This is Earth, a planet where reality sometimes defies its own laws. A place where nature not only nurtures life, but also harbors secrets that leave the human mind in awe. They all emerge as impossible places, realms that defy possibility, sculpted by an unseen hand. Here science pauses at the threshold of awe, yielding to the timeless beauty of unanswered questions. Each landscape is not merely a creation of time, but an ancient cosmic riddle. So let your mind unwind and join us as we step beyond the boundaries of the known to explore natural wonders that remain unexplained by science. At first glance, the human mind almost rejects conventional physical logic. How can water flow down a slope in the midst of a vast ocean? The deeper you gaze into the unfathomable darkness, at the center, the more it feels as though the ocean is devouring itself, creating a submerged vortex suspended in the open sea. While it appears to be a supernatural phenomenon that defies science, it is actually an optical illusion masterpiece orchestrated by nature itself. Mauritius is a relatively young volcanic island situated on an underwater plateau that rises significantly above the surrounding seabed. Near-shore currents continuously sweep sand, gravel, and sediment from the shallow swimming areas over the edge of the underwater drop-off. A color gradient shifting from turquoise to emerald green, deep blue, and finally, pitch black. Combined with the stretch of white sand being pulled down into the abyss, it creates a complete optical illusion of a rushing waterfall beneath the sea. If you swim or snorkel on the surface in this area, you won't notice anything unusual, just cool, clear water. This marvel only truly reveals itself in its full form when viewed from the air. What leaves every visitor spellbound is the lake water's absolute, almost surreal clarity. As you drift gently toward the center of the lake, in a wooden boat, a peculiar phenomenon occurs. The boundary between the water's surface and the air seems to vanish completely. The boat appears to hover in mid-air, casting a razor-sharp shadow all the way to the depths below. You feel as though you are flying through a weightless void. Beneath the surface, ancient tree trunks, submerged for decades, retain their original form, showing no signs of rot or decay. They lie in peaceful repose, like slumbering giants, draped in layers of moss and vibrant green algae. Sunlight filters through the forest canopy, striking the water's surface and fracturing into thousands of shimmering crystalline beams that illuminate the lake bed. In the local Bangi language, Paisu means water and Pok means black. Blackwater Lake, a name that sounds rather dark and ominous. It bears this name because when viewed from a distance or from above the dense forest, canopy blocks out the light, casting the lake's waters into a mysterious dark grey hue. Yet simply drawing closer causes that mask to fall away, revealing a sparkling emerald. This astonishing contrast compels scientists and explorers alike to acknowledge that nature has its own unique ways of concealing its most exquisite treasures. Imagine standing atop a pristine, smooth white sand dune that stretches all the way to the horizon. The wind whispers past your ears, the brilliant tropical sun beats down, and the landscape before you resembles a miniature Sahara desert. Thousands of such lakes lie scattered among countless undulating sand dunes, forming a giant ribbon of silk that lives up to the name Lençóis, meaning Maranhenses bed sheets. What makes Lençóis Maranhenses a truly unique natural phenomenon lies in the paradoxes orchestrated by nature itself. Located right next to the Amazon River basin, Lençóis Maranhenses, despite its massive sand dunes, receives an average annual rainfall of up to 1,200 mm. During the dry season, soaring temperatures cause countless lakes to evaporate, completely transforming the landscape back into a parched wasteland. Yet as soon as the rains returned the following mid-year, the lakes filled up, and fish and shrimp reappeared swimming freely in these unlikely places. If there is a place on Earth that could be described as a gateway to another planet, it is surely Roraima, a tabletop mountain situated at the tri-border junction of Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana. Viewed from afar, it bears no resemblance to any mountain you have ever known. Yet its spectacular appearance is merely the surface story. Geologists have determined that Roraima dates back as far as 2 billion years, meaning it existed before the continents drifted apart, and even before dinosaurs appeared on Earth. Its sheer elevation and impassable cliffs have transformed this 31 square kilometer summit into an island in time. Isolated for millions of years, the ecosystem atop Mount Roraima has evolved in a truly bizarre direction. Over 80% of the species found here exist nowhere else on the planet. Why, over hundreds of millions of years, has this mountain summit retained a flatness so perfect it resembles a landing pad for spacecraft? Even today, with satellites scanning every nook and cranny of the Earth, the summit of Mount Roraima remains shrouded in dense mist, guarding the planet's most primordial secrets. Unlike many other pink lakes around the world, where the hue shifts with the season's sunlight or temperature, Lake Hillier is different. Whether under the blazing summer sun or the gloomy winter sky, the water retains its signature bubblegum shade. Even when you scoop a cup of water from the lake, it retains its pink hue, never diluting or turning clear as one might expect from a typical optical illusion. Scientists have spent decades studying the site's microbial ecosystem. The most widely accepted explanation involves the microalga Dunaliella salina interacts with the halophilic bacterium Salinibacter ruber. The resulting high salinity levels trigger the production of the pigment beta-carotene. How does the microbiosphere ecosystem on Middle Island maintain such a state of perfect balance and miraculously stable pigmentation? Nature seems to have deliberately placed a surreal streak of color right beside the deep blue ocean, separated only by a narrow strip of sand and dense forest. Creating a surreal contrast among the impossible places, one that no human architect could ever orchestrate. If someone told you this image was captured by a space telescope, you would have every reason to believe it. But in reality, you are standing in the middle of the New Mexico desert in a bizarre wilderness known as the Bitis Wilderness. There are no roads here, no cell phone signal, and virtually no traces of modern life. It feels as though Earth has inadvertently forgotten this particular corner of itself. What makes Bitis one of the strangest places on the planet is its geological hoodoo formation structures that defy the imagination. Towering stone columns with bulbous tops resembling giant mushrooms and stone dragon eggs scattered across the cracked earth. Millions of years ago, this area was a lush tropical swamp, teeming with countless dinosaur species. As the sea receded, deposits of coal sand and clay remained. Over millions of years, erosion by wind and torrential rain sculpted them into a stone graveyard that looks bizarrely surreal. So what do you think about this place? Please leave your thoughts in the comments section and let us know. The most remarkable feature of Doubtful Sound lies in the layers of water beneath the surface, normally fresh water and salt water mixed together. However, here, thanks to immense rainfall and sheer wind-blocking cliffs, a layer of fresh water several meters thick floats entirely atop the denser salt water below. This fresh water is stained a dark, tea-like hue by organic acids, washing down from the ancient forests atop the mountains. It acts as a natural sunshade, preventing sunlight from penetrating deep into these impossible places. Looking up at the bay's flanks, sheer granite walls rise nearly vertically, soaring thousands of meters into the clouds. Remarkably tropical rainforest still blankets those slick rock faces. The tree roots do not anchor into soil, for there is no soil to speak of, but instead intertwine to form a root mat that clings loosely to the mossy rock surface. During torrential rains, the weight of this vegetation suddenly increases. Just a few years later, moss and saplings would spontaneously emerge from that stark grey scar, miraculously cloaking the area in green once more. If someone told you that there is a place on Earth where if you swish your hand through the water, the darkness instantly erupts into millions of streaks of blue light, would you believe it? As night falls and the sun completely vanishes, the waters here take on an extraordinary magical quality. With every stroke of an oar, every ripple, or even a single raindrop hitting the bay's surface, the water erupts into brilliant streaks of blue bioluminescence. The secret lies in the astonishingly high density of single-celled microorganisms known as Pyrodinium bahamense. Hundreds of thousands of these tiny organisms inhabit every liter of water in Mosquito Bay. Upon sensing any disturbance in their surroundings, they trigger a defensive chemical reaction, releasing magical luminous flashes of energy. Imagine swimming through a river woven from stars. Every movement of your body leaves behind a shimmering magical trail of light. Yet today, it stands as proof that nature requires neither special effects nor magic. It is in itself a sci-fi masterpiece that far surpasses human imagination. Walk past wooden benches, cross small bridges spanning dry stream beds, and gaze at the lush green grass beneath your feet. Yet just a few months later, upon returning in May or June, that entire park lies submerged 12 meters underwater. What astonished me most when standing before Gruna Sea was not merely the fact that the park was flooded, but the water's absolute clarity. The lake's water consists entirely of melted snow and ice flowing down from the Hochschwab limestone mountains. This ice and snow act as a massive natural filter, removing all impurities and fine sediment. Whether viewed from above or from beneath the surface, a brilliant emerald hue emerges as sunlight reflects off the icy water and the submerged vegetation below. From a geological perspective, this is a perfect fusion of seasonal flooding and the characteristics of karst limestone, a true impossible place. To preserve its pristine beauty and fragile ecosystem, local authorities have completely banned scuba diving and swimming at Gruna Sea. Now we can only gaze upon this dreamlike world from the shore, where the water lies still as a giant mirror, reflecting the fairy tale realm hidden deep beneath the surface. On Earth, there are physical laws that seem destined to be broken. And right in the heart of the Amazon rainforest, nature has created one of the most bizarre and incredible visual phenomena on the planet. Encontro das Aguas, the meeting of two rivers, where the waters flow side by side, yet steadfastly refuse to blend. To the left, lies the Solimois River, a fast-flowing, turbulent torrent, with waters thick with silt and a murky golden yellow hue. To the right is the Rio Negro, the mysterious Black River, with dark tea-colored waters that are calm and deep. When these two giants meet in Manaus, Brazil, instead of blending to form a neutral-colored mix, as one might expect, they create a distinct dividing line stretching over 6 kilometers. The two currents crash against one another, churning side by side and brushing against each other, yet they remain completely separate, as if an invisible wall stands between them. The first thing that strikes the eye is not majestic mountains or plunging canyons, but tens of thousands of bizarre rock formations rising from the arid red sand. Some rocks look exactly like a goblin, sitting in deep contemplation, while others resemble giant mushrooms, skulls, or ancient creatures petrified mid-motion. They stand clustered together, forming natural labyrinths with no fixed exits amidst these otherworldly landscapes. You are free to wander among these stone goblins, weaving through narrow crevices and feeling an overwhelming sense of solitude. Nature is not merely an architect. In Goblin Valley, it is also a spontaneous surrealist artist. From a geological perspective, even though people might label it an unexplained mystery, modern science has partially deciphered the origins of this Entrada sandstone structure. This site was once the shoreline of an inland sea during the Jurassic period. Layers of mud, sand, and silt accumulated continuously over countless eras. Over millions of years, storm waters seeped into cracks, while desert winds eroded the rock's edges. While the Grand Canyon is renowned for its sheer scale, Canyonlands is a landscape that is wild, rugged, and steeped in mystery. Standing at its edge, your mind is tricked by the sense of scale, confronted with bottomless chasms and towering rock spires standing solitary amidst the wilderness. To this day, geologists fiercely debate whether this feature resulted from a meteorite impact millions of years ago or the collapse of an ancient underground salt cavern. Nature has left behind a mystery to which modern science has yet to provide a definitive answer. The uniqueness of Canyonlands also lies in the way two legendary rivers, the Colorado and the Green, intersect, dividing the park into 4 completely isolated districts. Among them, the Maze ranks as one of the most remote and perilous wilderness areas in North America. It is a true sandstone labyrinth where GPS signals can fail, and only the most intrepid adventurers dare to venture inside. In most places around the world, reaching a snow-capped peak requires weeks of climbing. Yet in Hunza, the vertical rise from the valley floor to the summit of Rakaposhi is nearly 6,000 meters, making it one of the steepest mountain faces on the planet. The geological structure here itself defies the laws of gravity. Masses of metamorphic rock compressed over millions of years by the collision between the Indian and Eurasian tectonic plates. The Hunza people are often described as those who never age. Stories of their exceptional longevity, healthy skin well into their 90s, and freedom from cancer have filled volumes of medical research. The Hunza people do not drink ordinary spring water. Instead, they consume meltwater flowing directly from glaciers that are thousands of years old, such as Ulta or Pasu. The water runs murky, carrying glacial milk, ultrafine minerals pulverized by the crushing weight of billions of tons of glacial ice. For centuries, this place lay beyond the reach of the modern world. The climate and nutrients harbored deep within the vast wilderness transformed it into a mysterious, self-contained ecosystem. What lies before you is the Columbia River Gorge, a vast canyon, cleaving through the majestic Cascade Range between the U.S. states of Oregon and Washington. This place is far more than just a scenic landscape. It stands as living proof of the most cataclysmic floods in Earth's history, the Missoula floods. Trillions of cubic meters of water surge through at terrifying speeds, carving out sheer basalt cliffs that resemble the colossal ramparts of a lost empire. Yet the canyon's most enigmatic heart is Multnomah Falls, a two-tiered cascade soaring 109 meters high, its waters pouring down ceaselessly year-round. What astonishes geologists is the question of where such a massive volume of water originates. Even during the driest summers when nearby rivers run dry, Multnomah continues to cascade down with tremendous force. It is believed that groundwater flows hundreds of meters beneath layers of ancient basalt rock, yet the mechanism driving this continuous natural flow, persisting for millennia, remains a mystery. standing on the classic Italian-style Benson stone bridge spanning the waterfall, feeling the cool mist against your face and hearing the eternal roar of the wild. You will realize just how small humanity is in the face of Mother Nature's mysterious creations. There are places on Earth where modern science and voluminous geology textbooks seem to admit defeat the moment you set foot there. We are standing in Tayrona National Natural Park, where the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, the world's highest coastal mountain range, plunges directly into the ocean. Yet the deeper you venture, the more you realize that nature here operates according to laws that have never been fully explained by humanity. Look right down at your feet. Amidst the fine sand and the undulating waves lie massive, smooth granite boulders stacked upon one another in a seemingly impossible way. These are not ordinary limestone or sedimentary rocks eroded by sea waves. How did massive rock blocks weighing hundreds of tons come to be scattered across tropical coastlines with no signs of nearby mountain landslides? The geological community remains divided over whether this is the result of tectonic plate shifts millions of years ago or an ancient, previously unrecorded hydrodynamic phenomenon. Earth is a living organism, and the Sierra Nevada and the Tayrona coast are its heart. What makes this mountain range so distinct and mysterious to the indigenous Maori people? Aoraki is far more than just a rocky peak. Ancient legend holds that it is the frozen embodiment of their ancestor, a deity turned to stone after his celestial vessel became stranded in Earth. From a natural perspective, however, Mount Cook is home to extraordinary phenomena. Encircling the mountain lies the Tasman Glacier, a colossal expanse of ice stretching 27 kilometers. Here, the waters of the glacial lakes do not display the usual deep blue or clear transparency. Instead, they possess a stunning, almost surreal milky turquoise hue. The interplay between sunlight and rock flour, finely pulverized by millions of tons of moving ice, creates a color that seems conjured from myth. Beyond this, the area is subject to highly unpredictable weather. Lenticular clouds frequently envelop the summit, forming mysterious halos that make it appear as though an alien spacecraft has paused there. What puzzles geologists and explorers alike regarding Garibaldi is the seemingly impossible intersection of volcanic activity and glacial ice. It is a stratovolcano that formed atop a massive glacier during the Ice Age. When lava erupted, it did not flow freely across the land, but instead punched through layers of ice, hundreds of meters thick. As the ice melts, the remaining volcanic rock structures lose their support, forming sheer cliffs so steep they seem to defy the ordinary laws of physics and gravity. Directly beneath my feet lies Garibaldi Lake, a basin of turquoise water so clear it looks unreal. Yet what evokes both awe and a shiver of apprehension is the question, what is holding back this colossal volume of water? The answer is the barrier, a natural dam formed entirely from solidified lava flows over 9,000 years ago. Rising up to 300 meters, this sheer cliff face stands as straight and imposing as a man-made wall. Viewed from afar, this place resembles a colossal petrified labyrinth crafted by unnatural hands. About 270 million years ago, this entire area was actually an ancient seabed. Through violent geological upheavals and millions of years of erosion by wind and water, the sea vanished, giving way to tens of thousands of sharp limestone pillars reaching straight toward the sky. The rock formations here are far from monotonous. They resemble animals, human figures, and even ancient towers. This natural stone landscape is so dense and intricate that venturing in without a map makes getting lost almost inevitable. Although geology identifies this as a classic karst landscape standing amidst the dark, narrow crevices, evokes an overwhelming, surreal sensation. It is as if nature deliberately placed an eternal labyrinth here to test human ingenuity. Ancient legends even hold that this was once a battlefield where the gods themselves were turned to stone. As you draw closer, the first thing to strike your senses isn't just the sight, but the smell, a faint scent of natural gas drifting through the air. The flame, standing about 10–20 centimeters high, sits nestled within a small rocky recess beneath the main waterfall. Water cascades right in front of it, spraying a fine mist, yet the flame burns on tenaciously. Occasionally, strong winds or overflowing water extinguish it, but passing explorers will strike a match to reignite this marvel. So why does this leave the scientific community puzzled? While there are many places around the world with leaking natural gas deposits, eternal flame, Falls stands out as an exception that defies traditional geological theories. Typically, natural gas originates from ancient shale formations located at extreme depths and high temperatures. However, researchers from Indiana University discovered that the shale layer beneath this waterfall is only as warm as a cup of tea and lies at a much shallower depth than is standard. Imagine standing at an altitude of nearly 1,000 meters above sea level with the only thing keeping you from plunging into the abyss. This massive boulder, with a volume of approximately 5 cubic meters, has remained wedged firmly in the Kierag mountain crevice for thousands of years, ever since the end of the Ice Age. What astonishes both scientists and tourists alike is not merely that it has not shifted even a millimeter, but that its positioning seems almost too perfect to be real. The rock sits directly above a 984-meter drop overlooking the deep blue waters of the Lysefjorden fjord. There are no cables, artificial supports, or adhesives involved. The entire boulder is held in place solely by friction and the immense opposing compressive forces exerted by the two granite walls. Stepping on to Kierag Bolton is not merely a sightseeing excursion, it is a formidable psychological challenge. A single sudden gust of wind, or a misstep is all it would take for gravity to do the rest. Take a close look at the point of contact between this gold leaf-covered granite boulder weighing over 600 tons and the cliff face beneath it. It is absurdly small. Standing just a few meters away, the angled view makes your heart leap into your throat. The massive rock formation appears to be leaning precariously over the abyss, ready to plunge into the depths at the slightest nudge. Winds howl fiercely at the summit, yet the rock has stood immovable for millennia, weathering countless massive earthquakes without shifting so much as a millimeter. This is the result of millions of years of natural weathering and erosion which sculpted the granite mass into a rounded shape. Although the naked eye gives the impression that the rock mass is leaning precariously out over the precipice, its center of gravity actually falls precisely within the tiny area of contact with the bedrock beneath. Yet even with physical theory explaining this, witnessing the phenomenon firsthand with its astonishingly precarious balance leaves any scientist or engineer awestruck. Deep within the heart of the Navajo Nation in Arizona, USA, lies a canyon whose geological story seems to have barely been scratched by modern science, Canyon de Chelly. Amidst a vast continent, this is not merely a fissure in the earth, but a sculpted architectural marvel so perfect that it makes one question the capabilities of nature. What makes Canyon de Chelly a magnificent enigma is the presence of spider rock soaring more than 240 meters toward the sky. Shaped over hundreds of millions of years by the interplay of desert winds and ancient currents. The landscape features a structure that is at once graceful, towering, and remarkably steadfast. So why did nature's relentless erosive forces spare that single, slender, bare and perfectly formed stone pillar in the heart of the canyon? Beyond its geological structure, the canyon also holds a strangely sacred atmosphere. Beneath the towering, shadowed cliffs, temperature and sound shift in unusual ways, creating a space completely cut off from the outside world. What has astonished scientists for decades is not merely the sheer scale of the event, but the Great Migration itself. Every year, over 1.5 million wildebeest and hundreds of thousands of zebras embark on a circular journey spanning more than 1,000 kilometers. Why has modern science yet to fully explain this phenomenon? How do millions of creatures simultaneously pinpoint the exact location of rain showers hundreds of kilometers away and alter their course accordingly? There is no fixed leader or commander yet. The massive herd moves as a single unified body, crossing the Mara River, teeming with ferocious crocodiles. Many hypotheses suggest they sense low-frequency thunder or the Earth's magnetic field, yet no single theory explains the absolute synchronization of their behavior. The Serengeti seemed to possess a secret biological source code that nature has never revealed to humanity. Around 500 million years ago, when continents collided with immense force, an oceanic plate, along with the underlying mantle, failed to subduct as it normally would have. This rock, which makes up the mantle, contains extremely high levels of iron and nickel, while severely lacking essential nutrients. Due to this toxic chemical composition, virtually no plants have been able to survive there for millions of years. It feels as though a piece of Mars was cut out and pasted right into the heart of Canada. A short distance away lies Westernbrook Pond, a fjord featuring sheer cliffs that plunge nearly 700 meters straight down to the water. Typically, fjords are coastal inlets carved by glaciers, yet there is a unique twist here. The water in the pond is entirely fresh. Post-glacial crustal rebound uplifted the entire region, severing its connection to the ocean and trapping the glacial meltwater within. The water is so pure that it does not conduct electricity, and it lacks the mineral content necessary to support the thriving of typical aquatic life. Originating in the rain-swept highlands of Angola, the Okavango River surges across thousands of kilometers. Yet instead of making its way to the ocean, it plunges straight into the heart of the Kalahari. Here, the vast river completely vanishes. Billions of cubic meters of fresh water spill into the scorching sands, transforming into a colossal network of channels, swamps, and islets spanning over 15,000 square kilometers. Set foot on Gros Morne, and you will realize just how small human beings truly are. We tend to think of the Earth as a solid, stable mass beneath our feet. Yet standing upon the brilliant orange mantle rocks of the tablelands, you are literally touching the planet's deepest core. It is a place where no matter how many thousands of pages of geological theory explain it, your senses will cry out, "This place does not belong to this world."